Hello and welcome to Nilanjana's exclusive English lessons. And yes, finally we are in the last part of Act 1, Scene 2. If you know that we have already done two parts of the same video where we discussed the scene, and I'm sure all of you must be agreeing that this is quite a lengthy scene. And that's the reason I had to divide it into three parts. But yes, today in this part, we will be able to complete the scene explanation successfully, thereby clearing all your doubts. All right. I hope all of you have watched the first two parts of the video. If you haven't, please go and watch the first two parts, and then you can listen to the explanation of this part. So here, I'll straight away dive into the content. In this part, if you remember that there was a conversation that was going on between Brutus, Casca, and Cassius, where Brutus and Cassius was trying to know from Casca that what happened during the festivities while Caesar was being offered the crown. So Casca is narrating to them the happenings, and he's also adding his own viewpoint as he's narrating the story. Brutus, what said he when he came unto himself? What did Caesar say when he finally regained his consciousness? Casca, Mary, before he fell down, when he perceived the common herd, was glad he refused the crown. He plucked me ope his doublet and offered them his throat to cut. So here Casca is a little sarcastic. So what he tells is, Caesar was trying to make a big impression on the crowd. When he realized that the crowd was hooting and shrieking and appreciating the fact that he has refused the crown, that is when Caesar tried to play a little smart. He wanted to even make a bigger impression on the crowd. And thereby, what did he do? When he perceived that the common herd means the commoners, they were glad that he refused the crown, he did something else. So what did he do? He plucked me ope his doublet. Now, doublet is a kind of, tight-fitting jacket that was worn in Shakespearean time. So he basically offered to open his jacket, and he also tried to tell them that you can even take my life, offered them his throat to cut. So he even tried to say that take my life if I have ever betrayed you. This is, a little bit of melodrama on Caesar's point of view. Very melodramatically, he opened his jacket and, he tried to show that, yes, if you all are ready to take my life, I am even ready for that. Means, my life is for all of you. And I had been a man of any occupation, if I would not have taken him at a word, I might go to hell among the rogues. So Casca tells that, what, if I was a common man, a man of any occupation means if I was like a common laborer, and if I did not take him at his words, if I would not have listened to what he said and cut his throat, then, I would rather go to hell than to hell with me. And so he fell. So again, he fell. So, if you remember that Caesar was suffering from epilepsy, he had the falling sickness, as discussed in the last scene. So again and again, what was happening? Intermittently, he was fainting, and again, he was regaining his consciousness. When he came to himself again, means when he again regained his consciousness, he said, if he had done or said anything amiss. Sometimes when we are not in our senses, we often tell things which are not appropriate. So this is what he tried to verify, that did I say or did I do something inappropriate? He desired their worships to think it was his infirmity. So in case if he has done something inappropriate, they should consider that it was his sickness or illness that prompted him to do so. 3 or 4 wenches, now wenches refers to women, where I stood cried, Allah's good soul, and forgave him with all their heart. So here again we can see that Caesar has really cast a strong impression on the commoners, because whatever he was doing, they were, absolutely impressed. So these ladies, these females, they also stood up and said, oh, what a good soul. And they forgave him with all their hearts. But there's no heed to be taken of them. So he tells that, not to pay heed to these women. Why? Because if Caesar had stabbed their mothers, they would have done no less. So in case, if Caesar would have even stabbed their mother, like something really ruthless and a very heinous crime, then also they would have done the same thing. So here we can understand that how much they have been swayed by Caesar's popularity, Caesar's personality, that whatever he was doing, they were like ready to forgive him with their open heart. Brutus. And after that, he came the sad away. So Brutus tells that, okay, even after all that, he looked so sad when he returned from the festivities. Casca I means yes. Did Cicero say anything? Cicero was a senator, and he was also he opposed strongly the rise of Julius Caesar. So here he asked that, did Cicero say anything? Cassius. Casca, yes, he spoke Greek. Now again, there is a double meaning of this statement. Now in Shakespearean drama, you will have plenty of statements which has double meaning. These are also called, pun intended. Like basically, this was a pun. Now it has double meaning. So what was the double meaning? Double meaning. The first meaning is yes, probably he spoke in the language in Greek, and at the same time, this is also an idiom. Now, what is the meaning of this idiom? The meaning is that sometimes when we don't understand anything, we often use this idiom and say that it was absolutely Greek to me. So here, Casca is telling that yes, he spoke Greek, means I did not understand anything. Now, those of you, yes, I wanted to remind you that those of you who want to master a few idioms on my channel, you will also find a very helpful video where I have discussed 25 idioms, and you can go and listen to that video if you are having doubt about idioms. Basically, idioms are ways where you can beautify your language. It makes the language sound very beautiful, and it's also very helpful when it comes to your writing skills, your essay writing, and so on. So yes, if you wish to master that, I'm sharing the link in the description box. Cassius, to what effect? Nay, and I tell you that I'll ne'er look you in the face again. If I told you I understood everything, I'll never be able to look into your face. So that means he did not understand anything what Cicero said. But those that understood him smiled at one another and shook their heads. But for mine own part, it was Greek to me. So he said that there were people, probably they understood. They smiled at one another, but for me, it was Greek to me. I could tell you more news too. So there was more news that he wanted to share. Marulus and Flavius, for pulling scarves of Caesar's images, are put to silence. Very important lines which gives an evidence that Caesar was indeed becoming more like a tyrant and he was behaving like a dictator. The reason is, if you remember in Act 1, Scene 1, Marulus and Flavius, what they were planning, they were trying to pull out all the decorations from Caesar's statues, and they were even snubbing the commoners, asking them to get back to their work and not just while away their time on the streets of Rome, welcoming Caesar. So for that reason, they have been put to silence. Now, what do you mean by this? I'm sure all of you understand. It means that they have been killed. They have been given a death sentence. Fare you well, there was more foolery yet, if I could remember it. So yes, now I think it's time to bid farewell. And there were, of course, a lot of other things, if I can remember it. Cassius, will you sup with me tonight? Will you have supper with me tonight? No, I'm promised for. So no, I have some other commitments. Will you dine with me tomorrow? Aye, if I be alive, and your mind hold, and your dinner worth the eating. So this man already, we have ample evidences of his sense of humor. So he tells that, okay, if I'm alive and if you are not changing your opinion, and also if your dinner is good, if your food is worth eating, I'll definitely come. Good, I will expect you, do so, farewell both. So here he exits. Brutus, what a blunt fellow is this grown to be. He was quick metal when he went to school. So after Casca leaves the stage, Brutus tells, what a blunt fellow. I mean, he has become so blunt. He was quick metal. He was quick-witted. The word quick metal refers to he was quick-witted. Means he was pretty intelligent when he was in school. But I don't know what has happened to him now, that he seems to be pretty blunt, dull. Cassius, so is he now in execution of any bold or noble enterprise. Cassius tells that actually he is still quick-witted when it comes to carrying out any bold or noble enterprise, despite this, the dull outlook which he tries to put on. However, he puts on this tardy form. The tardy form refers to this dull form. So even though he tries to put on a dull face, a dull appearance, but basically he is quite quick-witted when it comes to carrying out any noble enterprise or any other bold mission. So what is he hinting at? What do you all think? What is he hinting at? What kind of bold or noble enterprise is he hinting at? Yes, let me know in the comments. I would like to know your answers because this is literature and you also need to utilize a little bit of your analytical and critical skills. Yes, I will give you the answer, but let me know which enterprise is he referring to. This rudeness is a sauce to his good wit, which gives men stomach to digest his words with better appetite. So he tells that the rudeness, the kind of crude words which he used, like, he doesn't sugarcoat his words. The kind of rudeness is actually a sauce to his good wit. It adds a little bit of flavor to his wit. Now, what is the purpose of sauce? It's a kind of seasoning that we add to our food, right? So what is why do we do it? So that it adds flavor to our food. Similarly, his rudeness is also a sauce to his good wit, which gives men stomach to digest his words with better appetite. So the reason he adds this rudeness to his wit, that is the reason people are quite interested to listen to him. People are able to digest his words with better appetite. I mean, they are keen on listening to what he says. Brutus. So it is. For this time, I will leave you. Tomorrow, if you please to speak with me, I will come home to you, or if you will come home to me, I will wait for you. So here Brutus agrees to the fact, whatever he tells, and he says that, okay, tomorrow let's have a meeting. I want you to talk to me. Either I will come home, or you can do the same, and I will be waiting for you. Cassius, I will do so. Till then, think of the word. Again, a very important instruction. He tries to plant the seed in the minds of Brutus, that think of the world, think of the happenings in Rome, the current state of Rome, the current affairs of Rome, so that Brutus is left to think that what he should do. Brutus exits. Now we have Cassius alone on the stage. And here we have a very important soliloquy of Cassius. Now, what is soliloquy? Soliloquy is actually, in other words, is also called a monologue. This means that the character right now is alone on the stage. There's nobody else. And usually, whenever a character speaks out the soliloquy, he expresses his innermost thoughts and feelings, which otherwise probably we would not be able to realize. And at the same time, through these soliloquies in Shakespearean drama, you will find a lot of soliloquies. So through these speeches, we also get to know about the important plot details, what's happening, what's going to be the course of the play, where the play is heading to. So all these important things are revealed in the soliloquy. So here also we have a very important soliloquy of Cassius. So remember to put a star on your textbook, because this can be asked through in the form of a reference to the context. Well, Brutus, thou art noble. So yes, Brutus, you are indeed a very noble man. Yet I see thy honorable metal may be wrought from that it is disposed. So what does this mean? That, yes, I know that you are very noble. I completely agree to this point. But yes, even your the goodness of your character can be turned from its usual inclination. That means you can also be swayed. Even though you are made of this honorable metal, you are a very honorable character, but still you can also be swayed. Therefore, it is meet that noble minds keep ever with their likes. So what he tells, yes, I will also explain a little in Hindi, as many of you have requested. I will also explain a little bit in Hindi. So what he tells is, जो लोग honorable है, उसको honorable लोगों के साथ ही रहना है. अदरवाइज उसमें एक डेंजर आ जाता है. द डेंजर इज दे कैन बी स्वेड, मतलब उनका माइंड कैन बी इन्फ्लुएंस्ड. So here, Brutus, you are very honorable, but yes, you can also be swayed from your goal. And वही हो रहा है यहाँ पे ये प्ले में, बिकॉज कैशियस का जो मोटिव है टू परसुएड ब्रूटस, ब्रूटस को कन्विंस करना है वो कॉन्स्पिरेसी में आने के लिए, राइट. सो ब्रूटस नोबल है, और अगर वो आ जाए उनके कॉन्स्पिरेसी में तो क्या होगा कि सबका फायदा है. कॉमनर्स ये लोग सोचेंगे कि हाँ, ब्रूटस इतना अच्छा कैरेक्टर, इतना अच्छा जेंटलमैन जिसके बारे में कोई भी स्कैंडल नहीं है, तो ये लोग अगर आ गए हैं कॉन्स्पिरेसी में तो कॉमनर्स की मन भी मतलब जीतने का आसान हो जाएगा. सो हियर ही टेल्स दैट देयरफॉर इट इज मीट, इट इज सूटेबल. Meet over here means it is suitable that noble minds keep ever with their likes. मतलब जो noble mind है, they should always be with their likes, similar people. For who so firm that cannot be seduced? ऐसा कोई है जो firm इतना है but फिर भी वो seduce नहीं हो पाता है. So he is trying to seduce Brutus, but he tells that it is very, very improbable that whoever has a firm mind, he cannot be seduced. That means what? This means that everybody at some point of time is susceptible to seduction. Means you can convince or persuade somebody if you have that kind of a strong way to convince. Caesar doth bear me hard. Caesar doesn't like me. Caesar मुझे पसंद, मतलब Caesar को मालूम है कि वो मुझे पसंद नहीं करते हैं. But he loves Brutus. Caesar is very fond of Brutus. He's a very close friend of Brutus and he loves him a lot. If I were Brutus now and if he were Cassius, he should not humor me. Very important lines. In fact, this complete speech is very important. I repeat it again. If I were Brutus, that means अगर मैं Brutus की जगह में होता and he were Cassius, then he should not be able to convince me. What does that mean? This means that Brutus is weak-minded. What does this mean? So he tells over here that अगर if I were Brutus now, अगर मैं उसके जगह पे होता and he were Cassius, and if he is trying to seduce me, he should not humor me. He should not let anyone persuade me. That means Brutus is a little weak-minded. I will this night in several hands in at his windows throw, as if they came from several citizens. Again, a very, very dirty manipulation which he does over here. What does he plan to do? That I will this night, today night, in several handwritings, I will send some letters through his window, as if the letters were coming from the citizens of Rome. And what would be written in those letters? All tending to the great opinion that Rome holds of his name. So I will try to write in those letters what the common men think of Brutus. So basically what he's doing, he is, it's a very corrupt way to influence somebody. He's manipulating things over here. And he's trying to say that I will write in some different handwritings and I will send letters through his window. And it will appear that the common people of Rome they have written that letter to Brutus telling that they have a lot of esteem, a lot of honor for him. Wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at. And not only that, I will also hint at Caesar's ambition. Means the letter will be written in such a manner that Caesar ka jo ambition hai. And after this, let Caesar seat him sure, for we will shake him or worse days endure. So what does this mean? This means that after this, after my plan, the manipulation that I'm trying to conduct, after my plan is successful, I'm very sure that Caesar will not be able to sit comfortably anymore because we will shake him. Otherwise, if you are not doing that, or worst days endure, we have to go through, we have to tolerate some horrible days where we have to live under servile fearfulness. That means we have to live under his tyranny. He will become a dictator and, we will have to behave like slaves in front of him. So that's the reason he has undertaken this plan. So with this, we end this scene, the last part of scene 2, which was remaining. And I hope It's clear. But if you have any questions, do not hesitate to write. Everybody's questions will be answered, and everybody's doubts will be cleared. All right. So if you have enjoyed the video, you know what I'm going to ask from you. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out the videos. I'm sure all of you know that every alternate day I'm releasing the videos. I'm trying to cover the entire syllabus of grade 9th, which is a lot. And also, not only when you subscribe, also make sure you press the bell notification so that the moment it is released, the video is updated, published, it reaches out to you and you don't miss out anything. And yes, at the same time, do not forget to subscribe, share, and like the videos. And yes, those of you who are interested for my online classes, I'm receiving a few inquiries. Also, remember to share your details, like where are you a teacher, or you a student, or your state, your location. If you are a student, which school, just share a little bit of detail so that it becomes easier for me to connect to you. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much. And yes, the next scene will be uploaded shortly. And yes, I wanted to also remind you that if you have not watched the explanations of Act 1, Scene 1, Scene 2, first two parts, then remember to go and click the link which is there in the description box so that you don't miss out the explanation. Because if you don't go in a flow, it will be difficult for you to understand the plot and the course of the drama. Okay, so thank you so much once again, and have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead. Bye-bye.